The Chiefs injury report.
Oh.
Hollywood Brown, who is still not practicing. I've upgraded myself to not nervous. I'm seeing a future in which the Chiefs open the season on which it's a bloodbath of a schedule with wide receiver one Xavier Worthy and Travis Kelce again being asked to shoulder the flipping weight of the universe. Travis Kelce's going to start to feel like he's in an abusive relationship because year after year, it's not going to be this. It's not going to be like that this time, baby. It's not going to be like that. I'm going to change.
We got Robert Tonyan.
Yeah, we got all these receivers. We got all this other stuff. The burden's not going to all be on you. Things are going to be different. We're going to listen more.
I do too.
We're going to listen more. We're going to talk less. We are going to not, we're not going to cut you off. We're going to hear what you have to say. We're not going to. And then Travis is like, okay. And then it's like, hey, how do you feel about taking 90% of the snaps?
Because we might not have Rashee Rice and Hollywood Brown for week one. You have to understand that Matt Nagy cannot sort of rip Hollywood Brown the way Andy Reid can. Nagy got as close to the line as he could while being firm, while trying to get you to understand that, yes, Hollywood Brown is a professional receiver. Hollywood Brown had the most unique injury of his career last year. And also, running routes for Patrick Mahomes matters. And we would like to see some of those routes sooner rather than later. So let me give you the translation, ladies and gentlemen. We may be anticipating, and now I'm speaking for Matt Nagy, essentially. The interpretation for Matt Nagy is, quote, we anticipated you will be back by today with the hope that if today went well, maybe we could throw you out there for a series against the Cardinals, right? A little slow run up. So the first preseason game, hopefully you get through that game. Hopefully you get through 2 snaps instead of 1 in the preseason opener. Because we would still like to see you within the framework of the offense. And obviously Travis is going to play a series. Patrick's going to play a series. So, we would like you to play a series. And again, we are penciling and projecting you to be a starter week 1. We have no idea what's going to happen with Rashee Rice, so therefore it's kind of important. On the other side, from the player standpoint, well, Andy just a few days ago said he wanted me to be, quote-unquote, right. And when I hear the word right, as a player, I hear the word healthy. I'm not fully healthy right now, and my calendar says it's August 5th, dog. So I'm not fully healthy. Coach wants me to be fully healthy. I might be fully healthy on August 15th, if you know what I mean. Then I am available for week 1. So we're getting to a little bit of a friction, and that's understandable. It's not the Chiefs are not the only team dealing with this. At least it's not, as of yet, it's not like the Isaiah Likely injury where you're like, well, he just hobbled off the field, guys. He's fine. I'm sorry, what? He's hurt. Got it. So that hasn't happened yet. But, I think the expectation is, and the hope, optimistically, could you get Hollywood Brown for the game in Seattle, get through that game? You're probably not playing in the third preseason game with the rest of the starters. So at least we have something on film, something procedural that we can sort of account for and get going for our game plan against the Chargers.
Drew Tranquill left to practice with a back issue of some sort, back tightness.
It looked like, he fell down. That looked awkward. That could only mean my body is giving out somewhere.
Tranquill turns 30 years old in 10 days, by the way. And as a 30-year-old currently doing this show on a yoga ball, I'm worried about Drew Tranquill's back because I'm worried about my back. And I'm, of course, not a professional athlete, but I do carry this show twice a week. By and large, though,
Fair.
Nate, what's the level of concern on Tranquill right now? Because, people say you never had a bad back, you have a bad back. And we also, this isn't necessarily like, it wasn't a point of contact. And then again, he was put on a board to get out of there or whatever. We're hoping for low levels of seriousness, but it's August, and that's a rough time to end up having your back grab at you. And I think Tranquil is in line to once again have a huge role in this defense because it's Nick Bolton, Drew
Yes.
Tranquil, Leo Chanel. Seems pretty straightforward to me.
Yes, and see where Jeffrey Baza, is along the way in that sort of October November range, if everything goes normal. I know someone just asked in the comments, can Louis Reese play linebacker? It's not a bad question. Hey, go see ball, go get ball. I mean, like, can you do an impression of Willie Gay? So yeah, I think it's mostly not that serious right now. But we didn't see much of Justin Reed during training camp last year because he was dealing with a quad injury, and so that's one that seems somewhat similar to where it's like, hey, Justin Reed was still on the field for week 1, still played very well last season. Did not come into training camp super duper healthy, and it's unfortunate that Tranquil kind of in a contract year.
It's like a baby contract year.
Yeah.
It's like if you play well, it's not a contract year. If you play,
Yes.
it's a contract year.
Correct. So, given that, does he have to play in the second preseason game against the Seattle Seahawks? No, I would trust Drew Tranquil to be ready to go for week 1. It'd be nice. But I think for both him and Hollywood Brown, they're kind of in the same boat of, hey, it's early August. I know we're technically a month away from the first game of the season. You would love to have everybody healthy, but there's no need for us to necessarily push you right now when we could still give you, and again, I'm spitballing here, ladies and gentlemen, 5, 10 additional more days compared to like if we were going from week 4 to week 5, if that makes sense.
Right. It does. It's just something to monitor from here on out. And again, something that you would hate for week 1 to get here, or even just later in the season. And you go, man, we've asked the question before of like, oh, has Tranquil lost half a step? Or, you get through an off season, maybe he's lost a quarter of a step, but now he's losing another quarter of a step because his back hurts.
Right.
Just something to keep in mind. Not that there are any non-physical positions at the NFL level, but you'd like to believe that your linebackers have cores that they can rely on from the beginning of the year. And it's just, I don't know, kind of spooky. And you're fully, just a quick water temperature check. You are nervous about Christian Fulton, not nervous about Hollywood Brown. TBD on Drew Tranquil.
I'm slightly nervous about Christian Fulton. I don't like the idea. We're still in very early August. We're pre-first preseason game. To me, if Fulton isn't practicing like by the second preseason game, I'm going to be a little like, well, that's less than ideal. Now he's a veteran. It's not like a rookie coming in.
Defense, though.
He's new to the defense. But I mean, it's interesting. Like some of the stuff they were having him do last year, like the different disguises and some of the drops are pretty similar to what Spags does. If you're hurt, you're hurt. That just is what it is. It's bad luck. I'm sure it frustrates Brown as much as anyone else.
It does. Yes.
It's just one of those things where I think my frustration, and when I wrote weeks ago, maybe even a month or two ago, that they were kind of running back the 2024 plan in 2025, which in some ways makes sense. In a lot of ways, like improvements with Worthy, a better player now. Like I saw on Twitter earlier today, someone talking about like looking at the last 7 games Worthy played in the season. You actually see, and I wrote about this with Rashee Rice in his rookie year, you see a bump up in his yards per route run, his depth of target, like a few different things that you can use to kind of measure effectiveness. And think what you will of it, it's one measure, his PFF grade. Mm-hmm. They all climbed by a decent margin those last 7 weeks. And I wrote about with Rashee Rice, you saw that in his rookie year too, the last half of the season, you saw a substantial bump in role as well as quantity. And you saw that same thing with Worthy. So I get the thought process there. I think where I'm starting to feel a little frustrated is you end up in what feels like potentially a remarkably similar situation when you know how bad things were. Now, is the situation the same if rather than a gaping hole at left tackle, you have the greatest player in the history of the game?
Oh, yes.
Right. Young Trent Williams.
Yes.
And that's so. And so I'm not frustrated with Hollywood Brown. Like, I mean, that guy, he's reaching an age to where it kind of has to happen for him this year.
And it certifiably is a contract year, guys.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, his second 1 year in a row, and you're playing for the Chiefs. There's going to be a lot of teams that are like, man, if you can't put up with the Chiefs, yeah, we'll give you a $4 million deal or whatever, which is a lot of money, but not what he's looking at. Hollywood Brown has this, him and Charles Omenihu have an incredible range of outcomes after this season. Both of them, I don't see a lot of in between like another 1 year kind of prove it deal. And their floor is like a 1 year, like $4 or $5 million deal with a ceiling being like, what Tershawn Wharton or Christian Kirk or like some of these guys got. So I'm sure he wants to be out there. I'm just more like, I've been hurt by the last couple seasons, and I'm much less willing to give the offense the benefit of a doubt that they're just going to figure it out.